Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate. Engineer Abbas Zoghari, as we did see in the previous reports, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi inaugurated the wheat harvest season, as I said in the beginning, in the New Valley Governorate in East Owainet, as we did see today. He was also briefed on the latest data and the indicators regarding agriculture and the agricultural projects here in Egypt. How would you describe the revolution in this field, agriculture, under the supervision and the leadership of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi?
As I said in the beginning, it was a dream and it became true. This is something we have, if we compare our pharaoh, in ancient Egypt, Egypt was one of the land of agriculture. But during the year, it's disappeared because of the climate and the desert and then the difference of temperature. And now President Sisi put this in his agenda from day one. He became a president, that he would like to develop Egypt, not only in modern technology and not in bridges only, not in roads, but the first aim was agriculture. Because if you don't own your food, you don't own your decision.
Yes.
And this was his word. So you have to own your food, that you can have your own decision. Otherwise, somebody else will do for you. So the development of aggregate and cultivate more land in Egypt will give us a chance, first of all, not to import from abroad. Second, we don't have to pay too much foreign currency to the other countries that we can export the wheat or the maize. And the third, we have the opportunity for our people that we can make the product a little bit cheaper, that people can have better life.
Yes.
So this is the revolution. And as I see, it's a revolution with 1,000% speed. As I see, if I saw in Toshka or in East Owainet, where they build factories for the agriculture industries, like the potatoes, which they are busy with, beside the roads and the railway and the rivers. So the transportation has been taken care of. As I have said before, we have to take more trucks out of the road and we change it to railway, like they do abroad, because the railway takes our product from the east to the north, or from north to south, that make it easier and quicker. It's not only that they aggregate only, but they are busy with the food industry. As I remind...
To be complementing each other.
That is the way it should be, because our land is wide and bigger.
Yes.
If we have aggregate in Upper Egypt or in East Owainet, which is 500 kilometers away from Aswan Lake, and then if you come to Cairo, it's 1,000, it's 1,500 kilometers. It's too long. So if we have our industry there, and we can transport it by railway, it's much easier, and then it's packing. And then it comes to people, it's in good refrigerators.
Yes.
So it comes here to the north, that people can use it, and with a normal price, and not in high price. So this makes a lot of opportunity for Egyptians to have better life. And I am very happy with it.
You mentioned the potatoes in specific, because we have seen today during the inspection and the inauguration of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi for the wheat harvest season, a detailed explanation of how the factory for potatoes is going through the motions, is going through the developmental processes all at the same time. And it focused on one element, one important element, is that everything is being used, even, for example, from the potato, one potato, it is everything inside of it is being used. So what is the importance of that?
Well, potatoes is very important food.
Yes.
I live in Holland for a long time, for 45 years.
Yes.
And Holland is a country of potatoes. People eat potatoes like we eat falafel in Egypt here.
Yes.
Daily, they eat potatoes on table. It's healthy and it's cheap for all the people. The factory in East Wainat, it's an investment with about 8 international company. So if people comes to make investment, they have also in the contract, they have to export. So it's a kind of way that we are using that those people comes over here to invest money as well. They can marketing and then sell it to export it to abroad.
Yes.
But on the other hand, I hope that we can export 50% and we use 50% for the public. And in the factory, nothing, they throw nothing away. The potatoes comes in, wash it, and they clean it, and they cutting it, and everything is automatically out of the people hand. And this make it cleaner, quicker, productable, and payable as well. So the idea of making the factory beside the land, it's super.
What is the importance of relying on the groundwater reserves for those projects, those important projects?
We have a lot of ground clean water in that area since very long time. But actually we have to be careful with using it because there is international law which you have to use in using this water. It's limitation. And the President Sisi has asked his people to take care of this point. There is a river beside which they take water from and pump it in a pipe beside the groundwater. But we have a groundwater for 100 years ahead to use it for agriculture. So it's very important to have they didn't aggregate and cultivate there for nothing. There's people are
There's a plan.
No, they make research. You cannot go activate and aggregate in each desert. You have to make your research and you take soil and then you go to analyze it and to see is it good for agriculture? How many years I have to do it? For example, it's not only the potatoes. We have there about 1.5 million date plant. And then they have made a factory for the MEDF there. They do it from the leaves of the date leaves. So it is not only a factory potatoes, but we have made a factory for the MEDF wood, which we exported for abroad. Well, Egyptian people that does not use the MEDF as Europe, because in Europe they don't buy expensive mobile as the Egyptian does, but they use everything for a student and a very simple life. So they have sent this abroad, and they have acquired according to the European regulation, and they said it's okay, we can use it. So it was done by the military university and the Ain Shams, the engineering faculty of engineering. So those two people, they have arranged that and they made the factory, and it's fine. So I'm happy with the result which they have reached.
One of the directives today, as you mentioned, Engineer Abbas, by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is to be rationalize the usage of water in general in Egypt, and more specifically for the projects that we have seen today in East Wainat and in Toshka as well. So what is the importance of relying on modern irrigation mechanisms for those colossal projects?
The modern irrigation, it's a clean irrigation. Well, normally we lose a lot of water before with the old way of irrigation. But with the modern irrigation is going by plant and by liter. So each drop of water goes under the tree and it uses it, so it grows faster and it gives a lot of production. So the modern irrigation, we have succeeded in Egypt to use it, and the production is much better than before. For example, the military has a lot of land and a lot of soap, which they use it for tomatoes and
greenhouses.
Paprika, the greenhouses, and it has been succeeded much. I will give you one example about the clean irrigation and the normal irrigation.
Yes.
For example, I'm going a little bit out of our discussion for the mango. We have the best mango in the world, but actually the life shelf of the mango is very short because the most mango which we have use the old way of irrigation, and therefore the life shield is very short. I cannot export it abroad. I import it from South America, but I cannot export it, the mango, which is, in my opinion, the best taste and the best mango. But it's the life shelf is
because of the irrigation technique.
Because of the irrigation.
So if we change that, we could be getting a bigger lifespan for the mango.
We have changed it in Alexandria Road in Wadi Natron.
Yes.
And they use the keet and kint, but the mango is very big. It's 1 kilo for one mango, or 3.5, 3/4 kilo. But the European, they don't need a bigger one. People are not rich as people think, because they buy things per one, not per kilo. So if he has 2 children, he would like to buy 2 mangoes or 4 mangoes. But
because it's expensive there.
Sure, of course. So each mango must be 250 grams and not 1 kilo. Or they use too much nitrogen in the irrigation, and therefore it's bigger. So I'm advising the farmer, if they hear me, do not use too much nitrogen in the modern technology of irrigation, that you can keep the balance, that the things can be normal.
One of the statements made by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and the directives made today was that we need to be attracting both the investors to the projects and the youth as well to be working at these projects, to be increasing the productivity. What are the potentials of attracting both of them, the investors and the youth, to those places?
As you will know, investor does not invest in agriculture.
Yes.
If you go to percentage, the abroad investors, they use 2% only for investment in agriculture. So my advice, and I hope that someone hear me, I will support and encourage the Egyptian investors to go there and invest. And you have a lot of Egyptian farmers, they own a lot of land, and they got a lot of money, and they can go there and invest the money because the infrastructure has been done. So the difficult step has been done. He does not have to aggregate and cultivate. He just have to plant and go through. So I will advise our presidency and our government to encourage the internal investment in Egypt, to go there and to create housing.
So the private sector.
The private sector.
Yes.
So I will encourage the private sector, because it must be a win-win situation. If I go away from home 1,000 kilometers, it must be something which I was dreamed to earn.
Yes.
I'm not going, he's not going for fun. He must earn money.
It has to be lucrative.
And first of all, as we have aggregate and cultivate, we have also to build the houses there, that we can take the farmer from here with his family and build the schools and make another cities,
a community.
Make community.
A whole community, yes.
Because we cannot take every people from here, or the army. The army has his job done. So the Egyptian people must continue. So we have to make community and new cities and new population and encourage the youth to go there. I have advised them before,
yes,
if they could help the new student after finishing the university and make a community of 20 persons and give each one, for example, 20 faddan. And if you have 20, they have 400 faddan. So they can work together and then make a production. Because
incentives for the youth.
I don't like the small things, because small things disappear.
Yes.
So we're going to be huge. So I advise them to support the private sector investment.
Yes, Engineer Abbas Zoghari, speaking of investments, Egypt is said to be investing 83 billion Egyptian pounds in the field of agriculture for this fiscal year, 2022-2023. We'll be having more details on this information in the upcoming reports, so stay tuned.